All right, thank you. Honorable Senators, I rise today to state my unreserved support of Senator Omidvar's bill, S-217, an act respecting the repurposing of certain seized, frozen, or sequestered assets, FARA. I will vote in favor of it, and I hope that you will too. I applaud Senator Omidvar's perseverance in bringing this important piece of legislation back for a third time, for proficiently shepherding it through this chamber with aims to see it move through the other place in a timely manner. This bill has great potential to help displaced and harmed people globally. It can also help countries impacted by state and non-state aggressors alike. In my life prior to the Senate, I worked in some places that forced me to face some of the horrible impacts of war and to see its immediate and its long-lasting effect on the health and mental health of those who were impacted by it. I have been changed by those experiences, and because of them, I've come to realize that it is our collective moral imperative to do whatever we can to actively support those who suffer during the fighting and after the combat has ended. Today, I also speak as a son of Ukrainian refugees who fled to Canada after World War II, where they met and raised their family. They left their beloved homes separately, each facing horrific circumstances and a number of near-death experiences. Both lost numerous family members, all their property, and most of their friends and neighbors. They, however, were the lucky ones. They were able to escape and rebuild. Today, we're seeing yet another mass exodus of Ukrainians due to the genocidal war of aggression waged by Russia against Ukraine, against people who were living their lives in peace, who were going to work, having children, planting crops, falling in love, dealing with the everyday joys and tribulations of their lives, much like those of us in this chamber were doing at the same time. Now many have died, watched family and friends violated and executed, had their homes turned into piles of rubble, and pirated away against their will to be imprisoned in a foreign land. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, over 12 million Ukrainians have fled their homes. That is over 1/4 of the total population. Over 7 million people are internally displaced, and 5 million have left the country. Some of my family members have left, women with their children, their husbands remaining behind to fight. Ukraine is suffering immense human and economic losses because of Russia's brutal, barbaric, and unprovoked invasion. We have seen many countries come together in condemnation of this terror. We have seen many countries provide much-needed military and humanitarian aid. Canada has contributed, and personally, I'm very appreciative of that and keep urging us to do more. When this war is over and the Russian invasion has been beaten back, Ukraine will need to rebuild. And as we know, the cost of defending against terror and the cost of rebuilding of homes, infrastructure, and the lives that have been shattered is immense. If quickly passed here and in the other place, leading to rapid and effective implementation, FARA can be an important tool that Canada can use to help secure funds that are needed to support Ukraine now as it defends itself and in the future as it rebuilds itself. Currently, millions of people across Ukraine or who have sought refuge in neighboring countries are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance. We are all aware that Russia uses terror, torture, and murder as part of its military tactics directed against women, children, and those unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The immediate and long-term impacts of these horrors will need additional supports to heal. According to the Embassy of Ukraine in Canada, Ukraine's economic losses since the Russian onslaught is about $600 billion. The cost of rebuilding cities such as Mariupol that have been largely reduced to rubble has not yet been calculated. To help with these realities, Ukraine needs massive influxes of capital. Funds are needed now and will be required post-conflict. When this war is over, Russia will need to make reparations, but it is unlikely to do so of its own accord. NATO and other Western countries will need to take steps to ensure that these reparations can be made. Through FARA, Canada can be of help. I and many members of this chamber have heard this call for assistance from courageous Ukrainian members of parliament who have talked to us directly and electronically and from the Ukrainian ambassador-designate to Canada, Yulia Kovalyv. They see the value in FARA. Honourable Senators, Canadians across this land have opened up their hearts, their homes, and their wallets to personally help. Many of us have taken part in that support. Recently, speaking in this chamber, Senator Batters identified a specific need and encouraged us to give personally. Similarly, by passing FARA, we in this chamber can additionally respond to these needs and help the Government of Canada provide support. There are frozen Russian assets worldwide that could help address the needs of Ukraine and the needs of many harmed persons globally. Governments require tools to access these funds. This is where FARA fills a gap. The World Bank has reported that there is over $20 billion of frozen assets sitting in limbo annually. Imagine the good this money could be doing if accessible for those who would benefit the most. Canada and its global partners have taken the steps in freezing funds of the Russian regime and oligarchs. This has been to apply pressures to end the aggression. Now, we must turn our thinking as to how these funds can be lawfully used through judicial oversight to pay for the damage inflicted. I believe the process of freezing, seizing, and distribution of these assets will be well served by the measures laid out in FARA. Senators, I am cognizant that this is just one conflict currently raging in the world and that there are millions of displaced persons globally. Our colleague, Senator Omidvar, presented the plight of globally displaced persons well in her second reading speech. She also educated us about the monies that are appropriated by various global bad actors through embezzlement, tax dodging, bribes, and payoffs. Canada should not be sitting by anymore. And when some of these funds find their way to our shores, we must move forward in finding just, legal, and transparent ways to seize and repurpose these funds to improve the lives of those most impacted. Ukraine and Ukrainians are simply one country and one people that would benefit from our global leadership in the passage of S-217. Once law, it will provide help where help is so pressingly needed, and as well signal that Canada is a champion for those who are negatively impacted by unjust events and evil people, and that Canada is no longer a safe haven for ill-gotten gains. I encourage us to vote unanimously in favor of Bill S-217. Thank you, merci, and Maladio.